Yeah, no question. It all comes back to training, and these guys have trained unbelievable. And, we talked about it on Wednesday. You asked me what it was like. This team is a very resilient bunch. They love playing football, and we talk about it all the time. The best part of football is football, and they got a chance to play against the crosstown rival, and everybody knows how important this game is and what it means. But I thought we got it in all three phases today. I thought our defense obviously was outstanding. I thought special teams wise, especially in our punt game, pinning them down, making them go long fields, they did a really really good job there. They have a dynamic kick returner, and besides the one on the penalty, I thought we did a good job there in that game. So I think in all phases, offense, defense, and special teams. And on offense, we had to score in the red zone, and we did today. So it's still a work in progress. I think we left some meat on the bone. But that just to see the smile on those guys' faces is it's special. So it's a lot of fun.
So you talk about the defensive wrestling, but on Caleb.
Yeah, I mean, he's as good a football player as I've seen in person. And I've said it before. Him and Andrew Luck are the two best players I've ever had an opportunity to coach against, and I told him that after the game. And but our front is relentless, and they put so much pressure on him. And even when he did have, he completed things. It was him being the magician that he is. And he just, scrambling around as much as he could, and he throws it up to Brendan Rice for the long touchdown. But I love the way our guys responded. They just, all right, let's play the next snap and let's come back out and let's continue to get after him. And I don't know the final rushing total, but it wasn't very high. I think we made him a very, very one-dimensional team today. And credit to our defensive coaches and credit to our defensive players. They were outstanding.
Ethan, what's the start for you today? Just talk a little bit about his performance and what he meant to the offense today.
Yeah, Garbs did a great job. There's a couple there that I think he wants back. And you'll say the same thing. Like he had him there. He had one to J. Mike there and one to Logan. But you continue to see him grow, and I think that's the cool part of it. And it's like everything with this football team. It's still a constant growth process. And there were people last week telling us to get over it, and we didn't want to get over it. We wanted to grow through it and learn from the experiences that we had, and how do we get better as a football team.
Coach, what did you say about TJ Hart? Yeah.
TJ did. TJ's a special back. I think we saw that last year. You look at the performance he had in the bowl game versus last year, and he continues to just pick up big plays. And then he's always the one thing with TJ is he always has a knack of hitting a home run when he needs to hit a home run, and he was so close to finishing that one run off. But I thought that was a huge run for us there in the third quarter. To keep that drive alive and to pop that one run was a real key play in this football game.
How strong of a case is Layatu making for national team?
What did he finish with today? I didn't see the numbers.
2 sacks, and I don't know how many tackles. 2 sacks.
And how many times they tackle him? Latu's a special player, and I'll share this with you because he's a special person. We found out, I think maybe Monday, Andrew, that he was a finalist for the Lombardi Award, and the Lombardi people are what a class operation. They asked us not to tell him until they announced it first, and I told Latu during stretch, and he was like, "What does that mean?" And I said, "You're a finalist, and you get to go to it." He goes, "Did I win it?" And he was like, "I go, no, you didn't win it yet." And he goes, "Why are you telling me now?" And I said, "Because I'm going to tell the team after practice." And he goes, "I don't want you to tell the team." And I go, "What do you mean you don't want me to tell the team?" And he said, "I just want to win the game this week, and it's all about the game. I don't care about awards. I just care about what goes on this week, and I don't want anybody to think about me in an award. I want to win as a football team." And that's what makes Latu special. He's everything you want, and we're just so happy that he's here. And I haven't seen the other people in the country, but I would be hard pressed to think there's anybody playing better than him.
To come back and play this well, I mean, obviously last week was low. To flip the script 180.
Yeah.
What does that say about this team?
It says a lot, and I've always believed this is a really resilient football team, and that's football. I love this game unconditionally. And this game teaches you so many life lessons that, and we talked about it a couple weeks ago on November 6th because it was the birthday of football. It's the 154th anniversary of Princeton Rutgers. They played that game in 1869, and we had a cake cutting ceremony, and we just talked about it as a group, like, where would we be if we didn't have football? I'd be back in New Hampshire somewhere. I wouldn't be in a Coliseum. I wouldn't be here. I would have never met these kids. Now, this game of football is special, and the lessons that it can teach you in life it's unbelievable. And I think if you love the game will love you back. But it's also, there's no self-pity in football either. And I told our players that before, is you are what you did. And we didn't play well enough last week, and we didn't coach well enough last week. And so let's get back on the field and let's see if we can rectify that. And this week we did. But tomorrow morning we're going to wake up and then we got to ready to go play camp. And that's the great thing about football, because every week is a season. So, no one really cares tomorrow what happened today. So it's going to be the same exact thing, same exact mindset. We're going to come back and we're going to prepare to play a really good Cal team. Justin Wilcox is a heck of a coach, and we know we're going to get the best of them. One of the last things about the Pac-12 that I loved, and I love a lot about this conference, and it's coming to the end, but there was always a battle of, can you win the state of California? Can you beat Stanford? Can you beat SC? And can you beat Cal? We have an opportunity to do that. And that hasn't been done very often. I know that we did it a couple of years ago, and when they told us we hadn't done it since the 90s. It's an opportunity for this football team to go back out and win a football game, and next week the Cal game is really important to us.
Chip, with the performance this week after the past couple of weeks, you think it tramples down speculation or moves on about your future?
Not an issue for me. I've never been governed by the fear of what other people say. And the lessons that this game has taught me, and I love this game, is that there's going to be highs and there's going to be lows. And you got to lean into the lows and you got to embrace them. And then you just got to go to work. But the rest of the stuff is just that's never bothered me. Josh came over the other day and said, hey, there's a report about this. And Martin told me it was inaccurate and inappropriate. I said, all right, let's go back to work. I don't pay attention to that stuff. I don't read that stuff. I've never seen that stuff. I talk about being the most prepared and the least distracted. Then why would I let something distract me? Then if that's the case, then I'm a fool, because I'm not doing what I tell our players to do. So didn't bother this team one thing, and you can see by the performance today, didn't bother the team, didn't bother that. I never talked to the team about it. I never talked to our coaches about it. We're just fortunate. We're all blessed that we get to play this sport, and every day that we get to coach it, I'm the happiest man in the world.
Coach, when did you recognize your defense? Pretty good.
I've known that for a while because we face them every day in practice. And when we were getting our tails kicked in the spring during preseason camp, it was just getting frustrated, So, but we have a talented group of players over there, it's a special group, and they're so coachable. Like they just want more, and that's the fun part for us, is that we love coming to work every day because the players that we get to work with, our players are special, man. So we get one more to finish out the regular season, and then we get a bowl game. We don't know where we're going or where we are, but that means we get to spend about another month with these guys, and that's the cool part. It's awesome. I know Terry Donahue is smiling right now. TD's looking down at us. When Ben asked the question last week, what did Terry tell you the first time he met you? He said, you got to beat your rival. And then he looked at me and smiled and goes, I was 10-9. And I smiled. That's Terry. But Terry lived for this game. And I think anybody that's been in it, this game is unique. And I've been at other schools, and there's been other games, and it's not like this. I think that the proximity of the schools, so many of our guys know so many of their guys, the Battle of Los Angeles, playing for the bell. There's so much to it, and it's cool that you get to see the smile on our kids' faces. When they get a chance to bring the bell back to our school, and we get to paint it blue for a year. And then it's going to be back at it again, because in this deal it just keeps going back and forth. And we know what to expect when we play them again next year, but it is pretty cool. It's a good deal to be 1-0 on Saturday night, especially after this one.
Chip, first year the road team has won this game because of the proximity of rivals and stuff. Yeah. Is there such a thing as home field or not?
I don't think so. Maybe we'll play at SoFi next year and no one will win.
You mentioned earlier, that ability to the last play behind you. Jalen, got beat on the isolation, then went back and forced the fumble.
Yeah.
How big was that?
That's football. That's Jalen. That's all our guys. They got resiliency. You're not gonna knock people out and win games 184-0. It's going to be back and forth. This is as talented a football team as we faced. They got cats over there that can go. And so we didn't think, we didn't come into this game saying, hey, we're going to shut them out and we'll score 38. It was like, it's going to be a battle. It's a heavyweight boxing match. It's going to go back and forth. But you got to be able to weather the assault, stand your ground, not back down, and then attack. And then cut them and just keep working the cut. And that's what we told our guys like they do in boxing. I thought we cut them early. We just kept working the cut. And that's what our message was to our players all week long. But I think our guys played with great effort. I think they had a positive attitude through the whole thing. And I thought they worked the cut throughout the entire game.
Did you get a chance to ring the bell yet?
I did. We were just trying to get in the locker room.
What was that like?
It was pretty cool. Pretty cool. It's because of our players. And the one thing that we don't play. I've never played a snap in a long, long time. We don't step across the field. We don't ever get on the field. It's about them. And when you can see the joy on their faces, and then what we talk about is mudita, and that's why when you vicariously derive joy from another person's success, there's a bunch of mudita going around now because we're so proud about what those players did and what they've accomplished. So, that's the fun part, to see the smiles on those kids' faces. They deserve it because this team works, man. They work.
Chip, how special was it to see Alex Johnson score that touchdown and how long he
It was great, and the only thing I regret is that then he gave the ball to Carl, and Carl threw the ball in the stands. So, I talked to Carl. We talked about it. He told me he loved me, and I was like, that doesn't soften the blow, my friend. But it was awesome, and I think that the way our defense was swarming and what they were doing at that point in time, and that was a critical juncture for us. If they can put a drive together and come down the field, and this thing's not the way it is, but to get the lead extended to that, I think that made that a 3-score game. You got it to 18. And then all of a sudden you're doing the analytics and the math. How many possessions are left in the game? What can we do here? What's it going to take? How many drives are left and all that other things? But to get it to a 3-score game give you just a little bit more room where you could be a little bit more comfortable. So,
Thank you.
thanks, guys.